Welcome back, everyone. Today we are taking a look at one of those components that tends to get a bit overlooked when you're building a system. We've been talking about the new video editing rig we're building for a while, and one thing I haven't mentioned yet is the storage that's going in it. So I got that massive case, and I didn't get it to not use it. We have a lot of different drives that are going in it, and some of which I really can't show you because they're in our existing video editing rig. I have an NVMe device I'm going to put in for the OS. I have an NVMe device I'm going to put in for the edit drive for hosting things. I have a couple of SSDs I'm actually going to RAID for the OS, and then I've got more SSDs I'm going to use for bulk export storage, and most of those are in the system. Now what I do have is, and I know these aren't exciting to look at, this is just a couple of 850 EVOs. These are 500 gig drives. I'm going to use them for the OS. And then this is the truly exciting part. This was sent to us courtesy of Seagate, which I very much want to thank them for providing these. And we're going to take time to bench one of these and do proper analysis on it. We may actually put a couple of them in our SSD test bench and do some tests on them, mirrored and striped, and see what kind of performance scaling we get out of them. These are 16 terabyte Seagate Exos drives, and I realize that their packaging probably isn't super exciting to look at. I mean, they're just plastic wrapped drives. Now, these are from Seagate's Enterprise lineup, and they're actually not super expensive if you're looking at 16 terabyte drives anyway. So I want to qualify that. A 16 terabyte drive is not inherently a cheap drive, but as far as 16 terabyte drives go, these aren't super expensive either. So an Iron Wolf Pro, which is actually what's in the video editing system now, is a pair of 10 terabyte Iron Wolves that had also been sent in from Seagate. It's about $517. These Exos drives you can actually get for about $400, as long as you don't mind waiting for the shipping. Just taking a peek on Amazon right now, I see some listed for $377. So, but what you don't get with these enterprise drives is any of the nice packaging, the instructions, how do you set it up, and the warranty process is a bit different because these are enterprise components. Now, these are the type of drive that the fact that they come in bulk packaging like this wouldn't really matter to the type of person who's normally buying them, because you'd get 16, you'd get 24 of them, 96 on the high end, and they would be in cartons, just in these sleeves, in individual cartons that you would then take them out and then load them in a large storage array. So these are probably going to be run in a RAID 10 in our video editing system for a total of 32 terabytes of raw storage. I may or may not put a SSD cache on that. A lot of that's going to depend on some of the software that's available to me, but I just wanted to point out these are what we're going to be using. You'll see these again when we do the final build. Now, I said that people tend to overlook this, and part of the reason for that is people tend to just buy whatever's cheapest. They'll buy the cheapest SSD. They'll buy the cheapest hard drive they can that is as big as they want. And then they wonder why my computer takes 5 minutes to boot. Or, I thought SSDs were supposed to be fast and it's slow. If you pay any attention to our SSD reviews, you know that we'll pick on drives that have poor thermal management. We'll call out drives that don't have a DRAM cache and say that this is going to suffer under scenario X, Y, and Z. And we don't generally recommend those as a blanket statement, although there's been That's the word I want to use. Exceptions to that. Crucial's BX500 really impressed me as far as DRAM-less drives were concerned. So, these are 7200 RPM drives. These are CMR, so they're not the shingled magnetic drives that Western Digital had been selling, or even Seagate sells, which have performance impacts on their own. So the shingled drives, they overwrite their data as they're recording, like shingles on your roof, and that imparts a performance penalty when you go to overwrite data. Now, these are going to be used for archival and retrieval of 4K video footage. So a performance hit, if I pull a project off the drive, make changes, and then dump the project back on, is not something I want to fight with when I'm overwriting just a small chunk of data. I don't want to have to read that all, have it stored temporarily, and then overwrite the whole shingled section. So that was a active decision not to get shingled drives. I'm sorry, as some of our other unboxings, there's not a whole ton to look at on these. You know, I'm not going to open up a hard drive to, I'll open the packet so we can see them without their shiny silver coat, but I'm not going to open the actual drive. In fact, these, I believe, are helium sealed, and you can see that they are welded shut all the way around. That's actually beneficial to the power usage. There's a lower resistance to rotation on the helium in the drives. It's also beneficial to noise. Helium-sealed drives, in my experience, tend to be a bit quieter, although, and this is just me being picky for the sake of it, I do wish they had milled a slightly cleaner edge on their weld when they did it, or just left the weld as it was. As long as that didn't extend outside of the dimensions allowed for the 3.5-inch bay, that shouldn't have been an issue. You will note that there's a few less mounting screws in these, and that these are a fair bit thicker than some of the older drives. Let's see if I've got one here. So this is an old Seagate Barracuda 7200.12. And I've got Constellation ES drives and 7211s and all of those that are about the same size. You can see there's not a whole ton of difference in the screw pattern here, but there is a large difference thickness-wise. This drive is almost twice as thick. This is actually technically considered half height for a 3.5-inch drive. Looking at the bottom, we see a couple of other differences. We see a wider drive pattern, or wider hole pattern, compared to the older drive. Now, there are drives out there that include all 6 holes. You'll see a pattern of 6 holes on them. And those were fairly popular for a while, especially on older units, although I don't seem to have one on hand. Both of the other older drives I have are the narrower pattern. Functionally, there's no real difference between it. It's just a choice. The standard allows for up to 6 holes in these different locations, and with a larger drive, probably due to the deeper location of platters in the drive, I'm sure that they had to move to the further out location, whereas with this smaller drive, they just put them here and here and said it was good enough. I am actually impressed to see how much smaller the printed circuit board is. That's an interesting note as far as the increase in density on various semiconductor products has happened. Once again, I would love to pull the printed circuit board off and take a look underneath it. Unfortunately, in my experience, that doesn't always go well, so I don't want to damage these because we do want to use these in our video edit system. All right, that's a quick look at a quick why and what we're going to be doing for storage on our new video edit rig. Hopefully that was interesting to some of you. For me, storage is a big thing. I'm a I'm an IT administrator by trade, so storage is both the most overlooked and one of the most critical things that I deal with on any given day. If anyone has any questions on these, why didn't we go pure SSD? That's really just a cost question. Or anything else of that nature, let me know in the comments below, and we will answer that to the best of our ability. I do want to thank Seagate for sending these out, helping sponsor our new video edit rig, and like I said, we're also going to take time to benchmark these as well and do a little bit of performance testing on them before they get pressed into production. If anyone has any tests they want to see run on these, we will do our best to do so. I want to thank anyone who uses our Amazon affiliate links or helps support Pocketables via Patreon. It is support like that that helps make videos like this possible. I want to thank Alextrix for providing our opening and closing themes. And finally, thank you for watching.